From Toledo, Ohio, it's the exciting final round of the PBA Toledo Open, pitting three of our top professional bowlers. Bill Tucker, Los Angeles, California. Pete Contis, Tucson, Arizona. And Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona, against each other in head-to-head round-robin matches for the right to meet the tournament leader, Gene Rhoda of Valparaiso, Indiana, in the final match for the tournament championship on Pro Bowlers Tour, an ABC Sports exclusive. Brought to you by new Aqua Velva silicone lather, the only shaving cream made to give you a silicone smooth shave with any blade. By Bristol Myers, makers of Bufferin. In the first critical minutes, Bufferin delivers twice as much pure pain reliever as simple aspirin to the aches, pains, and miseries of your cold. Bufferin. By Orofix, the denture adhesive with all-day holding power to keep your dentures securely in place all day long. From Imperial Lanes in Toledo, it's the PBA Toledo Open Tournament. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Schenkel. I'm very pleased to be in the wonderful city of Toledo, Ohio, as we are on the 10th stop on the Professional Bowlers Association's exciting 1966 National Tour, which, as you know, features 13 tournaments in 13 wonderful cities, with the world's greatest bowlers competing for over $500,000 in prize money. And today might be the day, that's why I give you this reminder, that the ABC television network will give $10,000 for the first perfect or 300 game rolled on our program. You know, for weeks you haven't seen this man bowl on our show. I think he likes to be a broadcaster, a television announcer. Of course, we pay him well. But I'll tell you what he did here opening night. In the Pro-Am, he and his partner were the winners. So Billy Whaley knows all about winning, which was proven by the fact that he has won the Masters Championship in bowling for the past 2 years. Here he is from Houston, Texas. Billy Whaley.
Hi, Chris. Hi, everybody.
Well, a quick rundown of what we can expect today.
Well, Chris, 160 players started, 40 cashed. Down to our top four, we have one of our finer casts on the PBA Tour. We have three right-handers, Dave Davis, the left-hander, going again. And our tournament leader, who was out of sight last week, and he was out of sight yesterday in the finals, Gene Rhoda. So it's going to be a great battle all the way. And
for the first time in the 5 years we've done this tournament, we have the four wives of the four bowlers here.
Yes, we have a wives gallery this week, and they're exciting too, Chris.
Your wife couldn't be here, huh?
No, Chris. My wife was...
World's richest bachelor, Billy Whaley. See you later. We'll be back in just a minute with the final rounds of the PBA Toledo Open.
I don't think I can go through with it.
Go through with what?
That speech I have to give tonight. I'm sure my dentures will act up, give me trouble.
Wait a minute. Mother got a new denture adhesive to try out. I think it's called Orofix. She says it's great.
Orofix? I'll get some today.
Be comfortable, be confident with the holding power of Orofix denture adhesive. Today's Orofix contains an adhesive substance so remarkable that one thin, tasteless film seals dentures to gums with an airtight, watertight seal. Air cannot loosen it. Liquids cannot melt it away. One application holds all day. Yes, you can be comfortable, be confident with the long-lasting holding power of Orofix.
Thank you.
You were great, dear.
I sure was confident. Say, let's go get a steak.
You are confident.
Be comfortable, be confident with the holding power of Orofix.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the Imperial Lanes, a beautiful bowling establishment here in northern Ohio, Toledo. And in our first match in this very successful tournament, we were looking at Pete Contis of Tucson, Arizona. This is the first head-to-head round-robin match. We have three of them. And if one of the three bowlers can win two, he goes to the finals against Gene Rhoda. First shot. Everything but the 4-7. And Pete was trying to stare it down, Billy Whaley. Correction, make it the 2-7. And that 2 is still wobbling. Here's Contis now, almost center on the approach. Going for the shot. Billy, what happened there?
Well, Chris, on the first ball, it was a funny hit. The ball hit into the nose and actually took the 1 off of the 2 as it went through. And in trying to make the spare, you hook it to the left and try to catch both the 2 and the 7 with the ball, and he hooked it too much.
And now here is a real competitor from Phoenix, Dave Davis. And the lefty was high on the head pin, and you should have seen the expression he had in his face. Look back at his wife, Pat. There you see the situation that he is faced with. Oh, boy. Billy, what do you do here? Shoot and hope?
No, Chris. He's going to try and hook the ball to the right side of the lane and make the 6 slide over into the 7 and 8. He might make it.
Ooh, so close. So here we go, and this may be a little indication of the pressure under these lights, the pressure of the amount of money that can be won, and the competition, as we have for the first time in the 5 years that we've been doing these telecasts, both bowlers to open in the first frame. It's the 610 that Dave Davis will have to try to cover on his next shot on lane 23 as we use the pair. And you look at the size of the crowd. This has been a tremendous tournament, and credit goes to Junior Powell, a professional bowler himself, who is here at the Imperial Lanes and has really excelled.
Right, Chris, and the capacity crowds all week. We've had about 15,000 people here for the 5 days.
So Dave Davis in the second frame has marked with a spare. There you see Tontis had an open frame, and now he will try to bounce back. And we have the baby split, the 310 on the right side for Pete Tontis, in what looks to be a game that's going to be very interesting to watch. Pete Tontis, good look at him there, 27 years old, 6'3", weighs 170 pounds, has won PBA title, winning it in Waukegan in 1964. And Tontis having difficulty finding the groove and the range as he has come up with 2 open frames. And he trails by 9 pins as he now moves over to lane 23, shooting in the 3rd frame. There he found the pocket.
Much better speed that time, Chris.
Dave Davis, there you see the situation. He is working on a spare, shooting in the 3rd frame. All but the 10 pin as we look at Pat Davis in Phoenix, Arizona. She has a right to be very proud of her husband because he's the PBA's reigning national champion, which he won at nearby Detroit last November. He also won the PBA Salt Lake City Championship last year. 5th leading money winner on last year's tour, 23 years old. So it's another spare for Dave Davis.
Tall and thin, Chris, weighs about 150 pounds. Very lanky and with a long arm swing, like a string bean.
6'2". There you see positioning the ball. That smile as he gets his first strike coming in the 4th frame and keeps him close to Pete Tontis. We'll be back in just a minute with the balance of today's first round-robin match.
Game, set, match. Mr. Buckholz.
Earl Buckholz can tell you it's a one-man game, but you sweat for a whole team. Greasy kid stuff. Can't make hair look natural. But Vitalis can, because only Vitalis has V7, the greaseless grooming discovery. Earl's hair stays in place, and there's no grease on his hair or his comb. Vitalis keeps your hair neat all day, without grease.
wintry morning, when the painful miseries of a cold can hold you down. I'm Joan Fontaine. You want relief fast, but what? Simple aspirin? No. Cold capsules with antihistamines? Not for me. Take Buffrin. Faster, more effective than aspirin without adding antihistamines. Pure aspirin tablets lose almost half their most effective medication before they ever get to work. Buffrin rushes almost twice as much of this medication to relieve the aches and pains of your cold. Take Buffrin.
Huge crowd here at the Imperial Lanes as we have Pete Tontis bowling out of Tucson, Arizona. He's a native of Hammond, Indiana. A bit to the left now as he goes for a double. Leaving the four-pin as his wife, Sandy Tontis, looks on. She flew all night, Billy, to get here to see her husband compete in the finals.
Yes, after he made the top 4 last night, he called Sandy, and she left Tucson at 2 o'clock in the morning, arrived here at 8 a.m.
Now going for the four-pin. He has it. There you see the score here at the Imperial Lanes. A difference of 8 pins. Shooting in the 5th frame now, first game. The 6-10 for Pete Tontis of Tucson. A young man that was born in Athens, Greece, 27 years ago.
He's been the host pro at the Athens Country Club, and
And now Dave Davis, who is working on a strike, as you see, shooting in the 5th frame. Billy, tomorrow we got a great basketball doubleheader. All on ABC. Tell you more about our first opportunity. 6-pin. Speaking of that basketball doubleheader, if the NBA Eastern Championship's not decided tonight, tomorrow afternoon we'll bring you an unprecedented dual coverage of the 2 decisive NBA professional basketball games, the Boston-Cincinnati game from Boston and the Philadelphia-Baltimore game from Baltimore. Gets his spare. And this unprecedented doubleheader on ABC television will have Bob Cousy and yours truly in Baltimore, while Kurt Gowdy, our old colleague, will be up in Boston. We'll be switching back and forth to bring you all the action from these climactic games. 2 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon exclusively on ABC. And you hear the rooting that's going on here at the Imperial Lanes in Toledo, in the Toledo Open tournament, our 10th stop. Our 11th stop, rather, on the PBA Tour. 2 more to go. Depew, New York next week. 2 weeks from today, the $100,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions. And Pete Tontis has his second strike of this first head-to-head round-robin match. The loser will go against Bill Tucker. Meanwhile, off in the wings, the tournament leader, a man who's won 2 tournaments already this year, Gene Rhoda, is waiting. Well, Billy, both bowlers hoping to, somewhere along the way, get a double and get a little bit of a command here.
right, Chris, that's the margin of difference. Pete Tontis is down by 10 pins. He's had 2 opens. Dave Davis has had 1.
A spare in the 7th frame for Tontis. And that brings back Dave Davis, who is the 3rd leading money winner this year with $11,300. In 9 previous PBA tournaments, he's made the money 7 times. Dave practically walked away from that shot, knowing that it was going to be a little high. He was saved from a split, however. leaving only the 4-pin. There you see the alternate, Wayne Zahn. He finished 5th in the tournament.
And Wayne told me while his wife is not here, she is watching with the family in Atlanta, Georgia today.
It's Pat Davis, Dave's wife. Strike for Dave Davis in the 8th frame. Now it's Tontis, shooting in the 8th, working on a spare.
Chris, while we don't have high scores in this first game, we have a very close match, 10 pins separating.
Here's a boy that was 5th in last week's St. Paul tournament, 3rd at Milwaukee. Leaving the 6-pin, Pete Tontis. It's an overcast and rainy day in Toledo, Ohio. Mrs. Tontis. "11 pins separating these two bowlers. Tontis is looking overhead at the score sheets. You'll notice these professionals do it regularly to make sure of their lead or their margin of trailing. A strike in the 9th. Quite a cast here today in the finals of the Toledo Open. Gene Rhoda, Bill Tucker, Dave Davis, and Pete Tontos. Double coverage now with our ABC cameras of this shot by Davis. Well, we have a little 4-7-10. Now, Billy, a lefty has this situation.
Right, Chris. He'll move to the right on the approach. Try and come in on the 4-7. Barely catch the 4-pin, sliding it across the lane into the 10.
Ooh, again, close. So now each bowler has a pair of open frames, and this is the first head-to-head round-robin match. 2 more of these round-robin matches to find out who will meet Gene Rhoda for the $5,000 first prize. Another 6-10 for Dave Davis.
That split in the 9th, Chris, was a tough decision for Dave. In going for it, if he misses one of the 2 pins, then he loses on count. If he goes for 2, then he would have had a 4 count up instead of a 2 count. So it would have made 2 more valuable pins for him, and he possibly could have won in the 10th frame on the count. As it is now, he's down by 3 pins to Pete Thomas instead of 1 pin.
So there is a great deal of strategy and decisions to be made when bowling professionally. Here's Tontis watching his opponent Davis. Well, the 10 finally went. A 171 for Dave Davis. Stop action videotape.
There you can see after coming in high, he gave the ball a little bit more room, came in light on the head pin, and with his great mixing ball, he did have the pins moving.
These 2 bowlers, Billy, are really having their problems in this first game.
There was an interesting development, Chris. Pete has been a little slow, and he's been coming in high throughout most of the match. That time, in playing safe, not wanting to hit the nose, he played the ball a little wider, and he increased his speed. Therefore, the ball didn't finish. Makes a great shot.
Mrs. Tontis, along with everybody here, and I'm sure all of you enjoyed that. Let's watch it again, stop-action videotape.
There you see, playing the ball to the left, making the 1 pin go into the 10. And now, Chris, he needs 7 pins or better on this ball for the win.
There's your winner of the first game, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Tontis and Dave Davis had their problems here in the first game, and it's a 175 to 171 victory for the boy from Tucson over the boy from Phoenix. We'll be back in just a minute with a second round robin match of the PBA Toledo Open.
Took these shots on our trip up the Danube.
Isn't that castle marvelous?
Oh, that's the 700-year-old Hohenzollern castle.
Did you go inside?
You bet. Interesting that Miller High Life beer was first brewed there in the early 1800s.
What's this?
It's a beer festival. They celebrate every year.
Hey, what happened?
Intermission. It's time for a Miller High Life.
All the way from the castle?
No, all the way from the kitchen.
Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer.
Brewed in the quality tradition with hops selected right off the vine. With rare grains grown in special fields to create a quality millions more are asking for. Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer. Sparkling, flavorful, distinctive.
Now, here's Chris with the news about ABC's new Wide World of Sports book.
Wherever in the world the cheering is, where the flags are flying and the thrill of competition is in the air, where the great athletes battle for glory, there we take you. This was our creed in our first ABC's Wide World of Sports book, enjoyed by thousands. This month, the second picture edition, written by Robert Rieger and ABC's staff of experts, will be ready. And the top sporting events of the year have been captured by Bob's camera. From the world's greatest basketball to skiing, where the champions race against the clock in the thrilling and exciting international ski competitions, championship swimming events, and Bob Rieger's analytical drawing so helpful to our young people. There are over 350 great photographs of the world's top athletes and sports events. The beauty and grace of figure skating. And the moment of triumph. From the serenity of sailing to the speed and danger of Grand Prix racing, this is the full-color cover of our new action-packed book. It features our historic satellite coverage from France, Ireland, and Russia. So to recapture those outstanding moments in sports, send $2, check or money order only, for your copy of the book to Sports Programs Incorporated, Post Office Box 3137, New York 8, New York. The cost includes postage and handling. This offer is not available in Canada. The address again, send $2, which includes costs of postage and handling, by check or money order only, payable to Sports Programs Incorporated, Post Office Box 3137, New York 8, New York. Back again at the Imperial Lanes in Toledo at the PBA Toledo Open. On the right, Dave Davis. On the left, Bill Tucker of Los Angeles, California. The second head-to-head round-robin match. In the first game, this man lost by 4 pins to Pete Tontis, 175 to 171. Let's see how he'll start here in the second on lane 23.
Chris, in that first game, it was conspicuous by the absence of pocket hits. We only had 4 balls in the pocket in the 2 players in the game. And, of course, Dame Fortune is not shining on Dave Davis's shoulders now.
Going for the 5-6. Oh! Dave Davis fits that ball in there.
Chris, that split is somewhat like the baby split, the 3-10 or the 2-7.
Stop action videotape.
Here you're going to see the ball will fit between the 2 pins and touch both of them.
Now Bill Tucker, 38 years old. Little mixer strike for Bill Tucker. 5'10", 150 pounds, from Los Angeles, California. His only PBA title was won at San Jose in 1965. He's always there, close. Stop-action videotape.
Here, the ball is going to hit light on the head pin, but with a good roll and a slow speed, it gives it very good mixing action.
Going for a double. Bill Tucker, who's had a problem all week long with the virus, probably got a little healed there with a nice double. Now Dave Davis, who had an open frame in the first, shooting in the second. There's a spare for Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona, who in the first game lost in an unusual match, 175 to 171. He's trailing by 11 pins here in the second. We're going to have double coverage, and you see the double there that Bill Tucker will be working on, trying to get a three-bagger. And Tucker comes up with the 6-7-10 after a pair of strikes. Tucker now can try to convert this one.
There you see, Chris, he has moved to the left on the approach. He will angle the ball across lane, try and barely touch the 6, sliding it into the 7.
So it's an open frame for Bill Tucker of Los Angeles, California. And by opening there, Davis has a 6-pin lead. In one frame, went from a lead of 11 to a minus of 6. Beautiful comeback by Tucker. Second round-robin match from the PBA Toledo Open. We'll be back in just a minute with the balance of today's second round-robin match.
The L&M side is for people who want taste in a cigarette and plenty of it. Come on over to the L&M side, just for the taste of it.
Venez tous du côté L&M. Venez-y comme tous les gens du goût. Venez donc, vous serez contents de vous. Oui, venez tous du côté L&M. Come on over to the L&M side. Just for the taste of it.
Who are the Avengers? Watch ABC.
Second round-robin match. Dave Davis now shooting in the second game against Bill Tucker, hoping to double here. Tomorrow on ABC television, doubleheader basketball, Boston, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Baltimore. Eastern Division title could be at stake. There's the 2-pin left by Dave Davis. And if that championship, Billy, isn't decided tonight, we will bring our viewers a doubleheader tomorrow. Kurt Gowdy will be in Boston, and Bob Cousy and I will be in Baltimore.
Chris, to set the condition for our viewers here this week, the boys have been playing inside. The lanes have been hooking quite a bit from the inside. That is about the third arrow. For the left-hander, Dave is in somewhat also. He's not playing on the corner as they usually do.
Mrs. Davis. Dave Davis, upholding the hopes of the left-handers. In the foursome, only one lefty this week. Now trying to cover the 4-7. This man trails by 4 pins. Bill Tucker. All-Star champion, 1961. What do you do in a case like that, Billy?
Chris, just go back and try and pick it up. It's tough when you get tapped, but if you let it bother you and miss the spare, then you're worse off.
This is Bill Tucker. Cross lane for the 10-pin.
Oh, he got 2 pins again. He's on his side.
He marks. On the way, here's a program as we look at Maggie Tucker, Mrs. Tucker, from Los Angeles, California. The American Sportsman will be on the air in color over most of these ABC stations at 4 p.m. 3 Central Time. From the high Canadian Rockies, Lee Wolf hunts for the mountain goat and bighorn sheep. Then to Kenya for sand grouse. Back to the States, Wyoming for an antelope hunt. Tucker with a strike in the 6th frame. And on American Sportsman tomorrow, you'll also be taken to the Florida Keys for fishing with bow and arrow for leopard ray. Sure and watch that show. It's a beauty.
Great.
More speed now for Dave Davis, Chris. He's been coming in high throughout the match, and he went to more speed on that ball.
And Dave Davis leads by 4 pins. Bill Tucker trailing at this point.
Oh, yeah. He should.
Same.
A 7-pin.
There is the problem with the speed, Chris. While you can hold a tighter line, with too much speed, sometimes that pin will fly over, as you did see the 4-pin go over the 7 then. A real tough break for Dave.
A spare for Davis in the 7th frame. And now Bill Tucker has a big opportunity, as you see, because he has a strike up. Let's look at double coverage of this shot.
Chris, if it appears that Bill Tucker is playing a tighter line on 24 than on 23, our viewers are correct, because lane 23 is hooking much more than 24. He's pretty straight on 24, but hooking from the left out and back on 23.
Because of the double, Bill Tucker now leads by 6 pins instead of trailing by 4. .610, Mrs. Tucker. Lots at stake here today because the winner of the Toledo Open gets $5,000. If you finish second, you get $2,500. Third, $1,500. And, of course, it's not too terrible to finish fourth in this particular tournament, which means $1,350.
All four players are eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions, Chris, having won previous tournaments on the tour.
And that tournament will be, the finals, 2 weeks from today, will be televised in color on ABC. $25,000 to the winner. Powerhouse by Dave Davis. Dave Davis, who lost in the first game, 175 to 171, wants to win this one because the man that can win 2 matches, of course, automatically goes into the finals. But if each should win a game, then total pinfall will do the deciding.
His first double, Chris, in 2 games.
And Billy, it isn't often, during all these games, 40 games, that the pros, somewhere along the way, don't double in each game.
Right, Chris.
A 10-pin for Bill Tucker.
Chris, that hit is what we call a half 10. The ball doesn't get into the pocket solid, yet it does hook in enough to get the 5 out and leave the 10.
Tucker trails now instead of leading by 7 pins. Here you get a good shot of Bill Tucker, who is 5'10", weighs 150 pounds. He's cashed in 8 of 9 previous PBA events this year. His best finish was 5th in San Jose.
He's a player that knows an awful lot about the game, Chris. He doesn't say too much. He knows a lot about ball weights. He experiments every week with different weights for the condition.
Mrs. Tucker, hope you enjoyed the strike by Bill Tucker. It was a beauty.
Chris, if he can get another strike here and get a good count on his final ball, then he will force Dave Davis to strike on his first shot in the 10th. Bill needs this one.
Okay. A 10-pin. He was trying to help it along back here on the approach. For Bill Tucker, this is his first match. The next game, he'll be going against Pete Tauntus. Bill Tucker nods to the crowd as they applaud here, having just shot an even 200. And now Dave Davis needs a mark in order to win this second round-robin match. So, it's the 10-pin.
Not a difficult spare, Chris. Here you're going to see a powerful ball coming in light, good mixing action, but the 10 refuses to go. Not a difficult spare, but I know he wanted more score in case. Chris, I held my breath because I thought he would go by it.
And had he gone by, he would have lost.
Barely hung on to make that one.
He knows it, too. Dave Davis, likable 23-year-older from Phoenix, Arizona. His opponent is already bowled a 200. Needs 5 pins. More than half enough. A 206 to a 200, and Dave Davis has won that match. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the action of the PBA Toledo Open.
Hi, Helen. What's the rush?
I've got 5 minutes to get to the faculty building.
Well, come on. I'll drop you.
Why, James Terwilliger, you went and got an expensive sports car.
No, Helen, it's not a sports car. It's a Rogue. A Rambler Rogue.
An expensive sports car.
A Rambler Rogue is not an expensive sports car.
Just never figured you for the sports car type.
It's not a sports car.
Rogue, it's Jimmy Terwilliger. In a sports car.
But does kind of handle like a sports car. And that powerful new engine does have more standard horsepower than any other car in its class. Okay, Helen.
Rambler Rogue, America's lowest list price sports hardtop, built with your fun and your safety in mind. American Motors cars keep their value because quality is built in, not added on.
We're in the final stages of the PBA Toledo Open. I'm Chris Schenkel. This is Billy Whalou. And we're here in booming, hustling Toledo, Ohio, Billy. And that was quite a second game, a 206 to 200 victory by Dave Davis, who was beaten in the first game 175 to 171 by Pete Tontis.
It's going to be an exciting third game here, Chris, because now it could be a total pin situation. So not only the win in this final game, but the score will be important. And there you see the score.
That's right, because there's 6 pins separating these two, and in the first game, as I mentioned, 4 pins separated the two. So there's the victory by Davis over Tucker.
Tough break for Bill Tucker there. He hit the pocket very well, but in the third frame, he went a little too direct. That open frame that you saw was the 6-7-10 split, and as it wound up, it cost him the game.
And, of course, now what he wants to do is to win the next one and roll a high score.
That's right. Dave Davis has a win. He has a 2-game total, about 377.
Right.
And so he's going to need to roll 178 and win, or out-total Pete Tontis.
We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, in just a minute with the third and final round-robin match.
This is it. The new gyro balance ball by Ebonite. World's first and only professional bowling ball. And this is Don Carter, the man who conceived it. Over there, Carmen Saldino, Ray Bluth, Harry Smith, Bill Allen, and Billy Hardwick. Some of the greatest bowlers in the world today. Every one of these men bowls for a living. And every one bowls Ebonite's new Don Carter gyro balanced ball. Custom balanced to control your hook precisely. Custom weighted on top to put the power where the pins are. Why are so many pros making the big switch to Ebonite? Simply because they win more money with it. That's the ball, the pro ball, the custom ball with the big Y that puts the power where the pins are. Ebonite's new Don Carter gyro balance, the ball that gives you the Ebonite edge. Since Don Carter gyro balance balls take longer to build, make sure you order yours now.
Wherever in the world the cheering is, where the flags are flying and the thrill of competition is in the air, there we take you. I'm Jim McKay, host of ABC's Wide World of Sports, asking you to join us each week as we continue our wonderfully exciting journey. Where the great athletes battle for glory, there we take you, wherever it may be in the wide world of sports. It might be the grandeur of ski jumping in Norway, or slalom in Germany, a teenager surfing in Hawaii, or a Grand Prix race car flying right at you in your living room. You meet the people as well on Wide World of Sports. Find out who they are and what they look like and why they do what they do. Whether it's a diver plunging from 90 feet, a tobogganist headed for trouble, or a runner using his last bit of energy to win the race, all these are the Wide World of Sports kind of thing. Traveling this world has been a great experience for me, and it can be for you every week on ABC.
Here are the two men that will battle head-on in the third and final round-robin match. Tucker on the right, Tontis on the left. The situation is this. Here is Tontis, or rather here is Tucker, who just lost to Dave Davis 206 to 200, bowling Tontis, who beat Davis 171, 175. Bill Tucker of Los Angeles opens with a big strike. And now Tontis. Tontis won the first game by 4 pins, 175 to 171. So if he can win this game, he automatically goes in against Gene Rhoda of Valparaiso, Indiana.
That's going to be the interesting development here, Chris. Bill Tucker has the pocket better. Pete Tontis has that ball really rolling and mixing, but he wasn't hitting the pocket too well in his first game.
Now, Tontis will be attempting to make a double, so we'll have double coverage of his shot. And he does one of the Billy Whaloo Frugs, or whatever it is at the line.
The Wah-Wah-Tusi.
Is that what it was, Bill? A double for Tontis. Now let's see if Tucker can come right back and tie it up. Working on a strike. Tie match after 2 frames. This is the third and deciding. That's Mrs. Tontis, along with Junior Powell, and this is Mrs. Tucker.
Very determined player, Chris.
Coming up high, so he's left with the 3, 6, and 10. Third and final round-robin match. Now, if Tucker can win this match, then it means that each of the 3 has a game. The man to go against Gene Rhoda will then be decided by virtue of pinfall. Total pins, 2 games each man. Chop the 6 and 10.
He swung that ball too wide, Chris, and while the lane is hooking in the center, if you swing it across or outside of that track, the ball won't swing back enough, and that is exactly what happened.
Now here's Tontis, who's working on a double. Well, things are breaking a little bit better for Pete Tontis here in the third and final match, deciding match, as he has 3 in a row. And he takes a 25-pin lead. Let's stop action videotape of that last shot.
Here you're going to see that ball really rolling, coming in light, mixing those pins back off the wall.
Leaving the 7-pin. Speaking of 7, Will Chamberlain is 7 feet 1 inches tall. He'll be going against the Baltimore Bullets along with the other 76ers in hopes of winning the Eastern Divisional Championship in the NBA. Up in Boston, it'll be the Celtics trying for the same against Cincinnati. ABC Television, if the Divisional Championship is not decided by tomorrow, will bring you dual coverage of the 2 games exclusively on ABC. We'll be back in just a minute with the balance of today's third round-robin match.
Well, Pete gets the beer frame. 4 more Miller High Life, please.
All right, all right. The beer frame's on me, but watch this.
Shoot, champ. Go ahead, champ.
What happened? What happened? That's just the way I played it.
Here, Pete. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy life with a clear, clean taste in beer. Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer. It's flavor with a deep down goodness. Sparkling with a special lightness. Miller High Life, the clear, clean taste in beer. Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer.
Brother, that's good.
Miller High Life never misses, huh, Pete?
Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer.
Sparkling, flavorful, distinctive.
Don't worry, Fritzy says I'll take care of it.
And now here is Bill Tucker, who is trailing by 25 pins and who was nosed out in his first match, the second game, by Dave Davis, 206 to 200. has to start stringing them. And he left the 2-5. Billy, I believe as we keep getting shots of the wives of the three players in this round robin, we can get a pretty good idea of how they feel about each shot from their facial expressions.
Very definitely, Chris. They really are involved in the competition with their husbands, and I know it spurs them on because Pete was really excited when his wife flew all night to be here to spur him on.
Gene Rhoda is our tournament leader. And he's off practicing in the right area of the Imperial Lanes, waiting to see which of three men he'll bowl for the $5,000 first prize. Bill Tucker.
No.
And this is the man that needs a victory and lots of pins. You know, immediately following today's Pro Bowlers Tour, ABC's Wide World of Sports will continue its globe-trotting tour with stops in Cortina, Italy for the World Two-Man Bobsled Championships, back to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin for the National Ice Boat Racing Championships, then to Dublin, Ireland, where you'll see the exciting St. Patrick's Day All-Star Hurling Championship. ABC Wide World of Sports, 5 p.m. 4 Central Time over most of these ABC stations. A spare for Bill Tucker. He opened with a double, then had an open frame, and now a pair of spares, while Tontis put together 3, marked with a spare in the 4th, is shooting in the 5th. He has a 25-pin lead. He has 1 victory to his credit.
He's found himself now, Chris, you can tell.
There's Gene Rhoda of Valparaiso, Indiana, the tournament leader. And if Tontis can win this third and final round-robin match, he will meet Rhoda for the $5,000. Tontis with 3 in a row, a spare, and now double. And the pressure is really on Tucker. He'll be shooting in the 6th frame, as you see, working on a spare. Trailing by 35 pins. Pretty strike by Bill Tucker of Los Angeles.
He knows he's down, but he's not out.
Bill was 14th on last year's money-winning list, earning over $16,000.
Here he comes.
Bill Tucker doubling in frames 6 and 7. And now Pete Tontis, who has a double in the 5th and 6th. Now he leads by 25 pins. Let's watch this shot, double coverage. Another 3-bagger for Pete Tontis of Tucson, Arizona. He won the first game 175 to 171 over Dave Davis. Davis then beat Tucker 206 to 200. And now it's the deciding game. Back to a 35-pin lead by this man. 6 feet 3. Sandy Tontis loved that 4-bagger. Isolated camera videotape view of that shot and his work.
There you see that arm and follow through. Powerful. Look at that emotion.
Back live to Bill Tucker, who has a double going for him.
My boy.
7-pin. Let's see that hit again, Billy.
Okay, Chris, there you see the ball is fading somewhat as it does hit the pins, and he doesn't get the maximum amount of pin action.
Bill Tucker marking with a spare in the 8th frame. trailing by 46 pins. Huge crowd here. In the crowd, Mr. and Mrs. Red Smith, great sportsmen. Leaving the 4-pin.
And Chris, in failing to strike there, Bill Tucker would be out of it at this point, because even if Pete Tontis now opens in his 9th and 10th frames, he still would have enough score to beat Bill Tucker.
And it proves again that if you can string them together. That's a spare in the 9th for Bill Tucker of Los Angeles, California. Bill has done extremely well this week, finishing second in this tournament when he hasn't been feeling well at all.
Now, there was a point early in the week where he might have to withdraw. He had a very bad case of the flu.
5 in a row. So Pete Tontis now will hope that he can carry some of this strike stringing into the final game against Big Gene Rhoda, who has 2 PBA victories, Charlotte and in St. Paul last week. Here's Tontis. I guess Sandy Tontis thinks it was well worthwhile to make that all-night trip. Because the worst he can do is $2,500.
Right, Chris. He is definitely the man now. On 2 victories, he will go against Gene Rhoda.
His objective here in this 3rd and final round-robin match was the fact that he needed to win this game. He has done just that. So by virtue of winning 2 of the 3 round-robin matches, he goes into the finals, where the winner gets $5,000, the loser $2,500. Veteran Bill Tucker shaking the hand of 27-year-old Pete Tontis with a big 258. That is quite a performance here when he rolled a 171 in his first game. And it is the 4-6 that is left for Bill Tucker to try and convert.
Actually, an insignificant frame for Bill Tucker, Chris. Since Bill does not win a game, he will be 4th. And Dave Davis, in winning 1 game, will be 3rd.
And, of course, Bill was trying his best to convert that. Bill shakes the hand of Pete Tontis. And as you see, it's a 258 to 188 score in the 3rd and deciding round-robin match. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the PBA Toledo Open.
Sherwin-Williams Chem Glow is the enamel you can wash. And wash. And wash. You can wash off finger marks, spills and stains, cooking spatters, smudges. And that's important because it's the washing that usually wears out the paint, but not Chem Glow enamel. It looks and washes like baked enamel. For kitchen and bathroom walls and woodwork throughout the house, Chem Glow, made by Sherwin-Williams. The people who bring you high-quality paints for home and industry. Look for this Cover the Earth trademark.
Robert Goulet hosts the Hollywood Palace in color tonight on ABC.
This spring and summer, ABC Sports will bring you exclusive coverage of these great golf tournaments. The United States Open, the British Open live by satellite, the PGA Championship. And on April 16th and 17th, the first of the great tournaments, the Tournament of Champions from the Desert Inn, Las Vegas. Only PGA tournament champions may enter. And among those, Arnold Palmer, champion of champions. defending his title. Also eligible, Ken Venturi, Tony Lima, Billy Casper, and Gary Player, the United States Open champion from South Africa. Also eligible, Jack Nicklaus, 1965 top money winner and Masters champion. And Dave Marr, winner of the 1965 PGA Championship. Tournament of Champions, April 16th and 17th. Exclusively on ABC. Back again at the Imperial Lanes, and we've had interesting 3 matches, the round-robin matches. There was Pete Thomas, who won 2 of the 3, and that makes it 3 matches, the round-robin matches. There was Pete Thomas, who won 2 of the 3, and that makes him eligible to go into the finals against Gene Rhoda of Valparaiso, Indiana. And Pete had a 175 in his first game, but came back, Billy, with a 258. So Rhoda may have his problems.
He's going to have his hands full now because Pete Thomas, with a very powerful ball, has found that strike line. And if he can hold it, he's going to be exciting.
And Gene Rhoda on the tour, having won 2 tournaments on our PBA telecast, is going to do quite a job. He's a big fellow, and you'll see him after a bit. But right now, we'd like to show you how the top 16 finished here at the Toledo Open. There you see it, Rhoda, the tournament leader.
Bill Tucker, Pete Thomas, and Dave Davis.
And then the alternate finishing 5th was Wayne Zahn, and of course he won $1,300.
Then Ray DeSanto from Batavia, New York. Al Thompson, Teddy Hoffman.
Then from Detroit, Bob Strampy.
Jack Biondolillo.
And Nelson Burton is coming back in.
Jim St. John, Fred Lenning, who made a bid for $300 last night.
And Jim Stefanich.
And Pat Stone, the other left-hander in the finals, a powerful left-hander from Detroit.
And we're glad to see Les Schisler back after an injury, finishing 16th in this huge field of professionals. We'll be back in just a minute with the final match of the PBA Toledo Open.
How close.
It's silicone close.
How smooth.
It's silicone smooth.
It's new Aqua Velva silicone lather for that smooth, smooth Aqua Velva face. The first instant lather for a silicone smooth shave. Silicones have amazing lubricating action for incredible razor glide and the smoothest face you ever felt. Look at silicones. Like tiny ball bearings, they add wonderful ease and comfort. Make every shave silicone smooth.
Smooth.
It's silicone smooth.
Get new Aqua Velva silicone lather for that smooth, smooth Aqua Velva face. And after every shave, splash on Ice Blue Aqua Velva, the lotion that's better for your skin. You like its clean, manly scent. She will, too. Get Aqua Velva.
Because there's something about an Aqua Velva man.
Okay, back again at the Imperial Lanes in Toledo, Ohio, the PBA Toledo Open. And going for the championship, Gene Rhoda and Pete Thomas. Rhoda, the tournament leader. Thomas, who won 2 of the 3 round-robin matches. Incidentally, our statistician today is Norm Myers of Los Angeles, professional bowler, whose wife is overdue 10 days for another child. Here's Tontis, whose wife is here watching him. Left the 7-pin. You know, Norm, to give you a little consolation, the last time I had this situation was at the PGA in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, and Dave Marr's wife, the winner of the tournament. Same situation. Byron Nelson and I mentioned it, and that day, Dave's wife had the baby. Good luck. Pete Thomas, who won 2 of the 3 round-robin matches, has marked with a spare in the first frame. And here's a fellow that has impressed most everyone, wherever he goes, because of his size, 6'3", 225 pounds, and his bowling ability. Gene Rhoda, 29 years old, from Valparaiso, Indiana. There's his wife, Carol. On his first shot, he left the 1, 2, and the 8. It's sort of thrown out on the lanes.
Right, Chris. He's a very excitable player, very anxious, and in his anxiety, that ball hung on his thumb.
Well, there are 2 big tournaments left on this year's PBA Tour. The Greater Buffalo Open from Depew, New York, next Saturday afternoon, and then the climactic Firestone $100,000 Tournament of Champions. He made sure. Gene Rhoda, we have an even match after 1 frame. Rhoda and Tontis, each with a spare. Firestone Tournament of Champions, 2 weeks from today from Akron on ABC television.
You want 5 more?
Really swung that one, Billy.
And he knew it was there, too.
Now Tontis, who had a 175 and a 258 in the round-robin matches, working on a spare, shooting in the second. Four pin.
In Gene Roda's case, Chris, this is the first time this year we've had a player going for back-to-back victories on the tour. Last year we had 2 of them, Bill Allen and Billy G. And should Gene Roda win today, this will be the first time on any of our telecasts that we've had a player win 3 tournaments on the winter tour. He has won 2 already.
That was Pete Tontis getting his second spare of this final match worth $5,000 to the winner. There is Roda. Tontis owns 1 PBA title. That was in Waukegan, Illinois in 1964. Best finish was 3rd at Milwaukee and 5th in last week's St. Paul tournament. Consistent. The 9 pin, Sandy Tontis.
He's going a little more direct now, Chris, than he did in his second game, the 258. He's a little tighter, a little straighter into the pocket.
Three marks for Tontis, 3 spares. Now Roda, who opened with a spare and had a strike in the second, will try for a double, and we'll give you double exposure of the shot. The NBA Eastern Division is not settled tonight. ABC Television will bring you 2 games tomorrow. Boston, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Baltimore. Dual coverage of those 2 games. Trouble again, Billy, on lane 24. Leaving the 1-2-4.
He must have some mental fear of the lane not hooking back for him, Chris, because he's trying to literally throw the ball into the pocket from the foul line.
A 4-time PBA champion, Gene Roda, holder of the world-sanctioned 6-game record of 1532. A 10 pin on lane 23. There's Wayne Zahn, the alternate. Joe Richards, reporter for the New York Daily News. Great bowling and billiard writer. Carol Roda. Gene Roda marking with a spare in the 4th frame as he's bowling for $5,000 against Pete Tontis. We'll be right back with the balance of today's final match.
Here's George Burns for El Producto Cigars.
Oh, Mr. Burns, my first movie premiere.
I'll never forget my first picture, a comedy.
Oh, was it a silent movie?
No, the audience was silent.
Oh, you must have died.
You must have read the reviews. But why spoil the evening? I'd rather be spoiled by this El Producto cigar. Once you try an El Producto, you won't settle for anything less. That's because they're mild, naturally mild.
Oh, Mr. Burns, is this one of your new discoveries?
Oh, no, I've been smoking El Producto cigars for years. Why don't you join me? Just ask your dealer for Georgia cigar, El Producto, the cigar of natural mildness.
In the huge crowd, you're looking at Sandy Tontis, whose husband, Pete Tontis, from Tucson, Arizona, is bowling against Gene Roda for the tournament championship and $5,000. Tontis trails by 1 pin as he shoots in the 4th frame with a spare up. Tontis with his first strike in this final game. Several minutes ago, if you were with us, he bowled a 258 game against Bill Tucker's 188. Tucker finishing 4th for $1,350. Dave Davis 3rd for $1,500. It's a double for Tontis, and now Gene Rhoda has to get up and perform.
Certainly, Rhoda is equal to the task, Chris. He's a powerful man. When he gets those motors humming, he's liable to string them any time.
There's one of them. He did that in Charlotte. This is Carol Rhoda. Let's see that last shot again. Stop action videotape.
Here you're going to see a powerful ball. As it rolls through the pins, you could see it move over toward the 8-pin spot. This is the sign of a good finishing ball.
Looking for a double. Came up high, and he's left with a split. The 4, 6, and 7.
Since it is straight across, Chris, the best percentage here is to play for 2. You go with speed and hope that it bounces out.
So Gene Rhoda, the tournament leader, bowling his first game today, is trailing by 9 pins as Pete Tontis, Tucson, Arizona, looking for 3 in a row. And with 3 in a row, the pins topple, and so does Tontis. And it gives him a 31-pin lead in this final game. After 6 frames, Tontis, who bowled a 175 and a 258 to win 2 games in the round robin, now has a 31-pin lead over the tournament leader, Gene Rhoda, who this year has won 2 PBA titles. Tontis looking for his first of 1966.
Starting to put the icing on the cake now.
4 in a row. Let's see it again. Isolated videotape. His shot.
And there, he rears a little bit, knows it's going high, and it holds for him.
You go places might want to use him. And there is a strike in the 7th frame for Gene Rhoda of Valparaiso, Indiana. And that open was a tough break for Gene, as you see that circle up in the box in the corner in the 6th frame.
Right, Chris. He came in light and left the half-hit 10, or the weak 10. Then when he left the 4-6, he tried to go more direct, which you can't do on lane 23. It swings too much. Let's see if he swings it out. Yes, he did.
It's a 4-pin for Gene Rhoda. Thus far this year, Gene Rhoda has won $11,170. If he were able to win this tournament, would put him on top of the money earned ahead of Dick Weber. If he finishes second, he'll move into second position. And now Pete Tontis, who has put 4 strikes together, leading by 41 pins. If Pete Tontis keeps moving around on the approaches, we're liable to find him in Akron instead of Toledo. There it is. Videotape. It looks like some of Wide World of Sports track and field coverage. Wide World of Sports follows our Pro Bowlers Tour today.
He could have made about 6 feet in the high jump on that one, Chris. Look where he is, Chris. Lane 21.
6 in a row for Pete Tontis, and his previous game he had a 251 where he was stringing them. A 258, rather. Here's Rhoda. For Gene Rhoda, it's his 4th strike in this final match worth $5,000 to the winner, $2,500 for losing. But it was an open frame in the 6th, and Tontis stringing them. It's caused him his trouble. And for the second time, Gene Rhoda, Valparaiso, Indiana, is faced with a split. This time it's the 4-7, or rather the 6-7-10. Gene Rhoda, acknowledging the applause of the crowd, the tournament leader who is in against red-hot Pete Tontis from Tucson, Arizona, a boy born in Athens, Greece. He had 6 in a row, failed to get the 10-pin. Here's his wife, along with Junior Powell. Cross lane for a spare. Norm Sebecki is on the right of Mrs. Tontis. He and Junior Powell doing a great job here in this industrial capital of Toledo with the PBA Toledo Open.
Chris, now we know how Bob Strampy, or Gene Rhoda knows how Bob Strampy felt last week running into a windmill.
A happy winner, a gracious loser, a big 246 for Tontis, and a 175. And look here. Dave Davis now and Bill Tucker, who finished 3rd and 4th respectively, and there are a few tears dwelling on this young lady who happens to be a fine artist, Mrs. Pete Tontis. And that is Maggie Tucker, to whom she's talking, and we also have Carol Rhoda here, and also Pat Davis. First time in the 5 years we've televised that all 4 wives of the competitors were in attendance. But of course the happiest one is Sandy Tontis of Tucson, Arizona. Well, Billy Tontis and Mrs. Tontis are richer by $5,000 as we look at the leading money winners on the PBA Tour, as we have 2 more tournaments left here in 1966. And Rhoda, by finishing 2nd, has moved into the 2nd position behind Dick Weber, who did not compete this week, ailing. Then Dave Davis is in 3rd, and veteran Bill Lillard 4th, and Tontis now, with a $5,000 victory today, moves into that 5th spot.
It's bunching up there, Chris.
And of course, Billy, there were a tremendous number of professionals started the PBA Toledo Open.
Right, Chris. 160 bowlers started the Toledo Open, and 40 bowlers cashed. It took 2 pins over to cash. It took 108 over to make the finals. So we had a great field.
Billy, while I have an opportunity, I'd like to call the attention of our viewers about something that I think is very special. If the divisional championship is undecided tonight in the NBA, the Eastern Division of the NBA, ABC Television will bring you dual coverage of the 2 deciding games tomorrow. Kurt Gowdy will be at Boston Garden to cover the Boston Celtic Cincinnati Royal game, and Bob Cousy and I will be in Baltimore tomorrow afternoon to cover Will Chamberlain, the Philadelphia 76ers, going against the Baltimore Bullets, who are right near the top. They clinched a tie for 2nd spot in the Western Division. So if the divisional championship is not decided tonight, with Philadelphia holding a lead over the Boston Celtics, we'll be on at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock Central Time, tomorrow over most of these same ABC stations with that doubleheader. We'll be back in just a minute to meet the winner of the PBA Toledo Open.
Wherever wheels are turning, no matter what the load, the name that's known is Firestone. Where the rubber meets the road, if you're carrying steel or tilling the soil, gonna visit Grandma or looking for oil, for the youngest driver and the real old pro, for a jet to land or a lawn to mow, for moving mountains or for stalking geese, following a golf ball or keeping the peace. Wherever wheels are turning, no matter what the load, the name that's known is Firestone. Where the rubber meets the road.
Firestone, your symbol of quality and service.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree it was a thrilling finish, wasn't it? Okay. One of the great thrills I get out of doing the Professional Bowlers Tour is the fact that the officials have big hearts. Wonderful human beings, fellows like Eddie Elias and Frank Esposito, because instead of writing these checks out to the men, they have put the names of first Maggie Tucker on this check for $1,350 as a result of her husband finishing fourth. Let's give him a round of applause because he's had the flu all week, yet finished second overall and fourth here today. Bill Tucker from Los Angeles. Nice going. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Chris. Gee, it does have my wife's name on it. Now what'll I do?
Give it to her.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And she's reaching for it. Bill, it's always nice to watch you bowl because you're an expert, and it's just a pleasure. Better luck next time.
Thank you very much, Chris. I sure enjoyed bowling here, and I know Pete really thrilled the crowd with his actions.
He sure did. Almost went to Akron from Toledo. Thanks, Bill. Now, the name of Pat Davis is on this next check for $1,500 because her husband finished third. Tall Dave Davis from Phoenix. Do you have any comment?
No comment, Chris.
Okay. See you next week and the following week also at the Tournament of Champions.
Right, Chris. I'd just like to congratulate Pete. He bowled it excellently. No other words.
He certainly did. It's very gracious of you. Dave Davis, 23 years old. Carol Rhoda can go back to Valparaiso now, and because of a $2,500 check, Gene Rhoda has moved into second position among the money leaders behind Dick Weber. And, Gene, that in itself is quite an accomplishment. Come over here and get the $2,500. We'll say who's.
Thank you, Chris.
You ran into a real buzzsaw, didn't you, today?
Well, yes, I would say so.
Well, now you know how Bob Strampy feels, because you did that to him, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Not much of a spokesman myself, but I would like to congratulate Pete on the beautiful bowling, and if I was going to lose, I would like to lose to a teammate.
You know, Lieutenant Governor Rock of Indiana made a nice comment about you. He said, I can't think of a better representative of sports from Indiana than you. And I'll have to second the motion.
Thanks,
See you,
Chris.
Gene.
Thank you.
Very good. Gene Rhoda. And now, to help buy her a few new brushes and some oil so she can continue her painting in Tucson, Arizona, after all, she flew all night to come see her husband win. Check to Sandy Tontis for Pete Tontis, her husband.
Thank you very much.
I know you'll give this to Sandy.
Sure am. She came up here for it.
Do you think flying all night had something to do with spurring you on to this tremendous victory?
Well, I was very lucky to make the finals, and after the first game, I started wondering about it a little bit. I won 70 game, but thanks to God, I came through and got lucky and got some strikes. And I want to thank you, Imperial Lanes, for hosting this tournament. It's a real nice place. And another thing, I'd like to thank you, Nelson Burton Jr., for helping me out with how to play lane 24. They helped me after the first game. Thank
Hey,
you.
this is quite a champion, isn't he?
Sure.
Pete Tontis.
Nelson.
Now, Pete, head over this way, because about to present the PBA Toledo Open trophy is one of my idols for many years, having been associated with the New York Giants, the Braves, the Brewers, the Mud Hens in sports. One of the great executives of sports and a sportsman himself, my pal Red Smith. Red, make the presentation in a hurry.
Thank you. Well, Pete, congratulations. From all of us here in Toledo, we hope that you're back here next season again. We certainly enjoyed this. We think it's great for our community. We, in the name of the community, I want to thank you, and I want to present this trophy. I don't know if you can carry it the way you slide around. Maybe we could use him on the Giants as quarterback next year, Chris.
I think so. Well, Red, we'd like to thank you and all of Toledo for making us all so welcome here.
It's a great pleasure, Chris.
And Pete, again, congratulations. Your plans now are to go to Depew, New York, no doubt.
Right.
And then on to Akron, Ohio.
For tournament champion.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next stop on Pro Bowlers Tour is Depew, New York, and we'll again bring you the final rounds of another great bowling tournament, the PBA Greater Buffalo Open. From the Fair Lanes, that's 1 week from today, on the ABC television network. Our thanks to the Professional Bowlers Association and its executive director, Eddie Elias, and the Imperial Lanes. Prize monies have been furnished by the Professional Bowlers Association and Imperial Lanes. And now this is Chris Schenkel saying so long from Toledo for Billy Whaleu and myself. Air travel arrangements for Pro Bowlers Tour made through and promotional consideration